So coming up after this ugly intro is the full interview that I did with the legendary Anthony Cumia. Well, one thing you just want to sort of set up beforehand is that when Anthony did this interview before, I was using Skype with a shitty mic. Now I don't use Skype, I use Zoom, and as you can tell, my mic is flawless. Oh yeah. So the sound quality on this interview hasn't aged well at all. There's a joke there, I'm not going to touch it. The sound quality's not great, and I've got to mention that when you see me, if I seem a little weird, and everyone's always doing the whole thing, oh, you're drunk, you're high, you're wasted, all that stuff. About 6 minutes before this interview took place, and bear in mind, I'd been trying to get the interview Anthony for a good half a year before it actually happened. So when I finally got the window, I says, well, I've got to take it. But about 6 minutes before this interview, I got really, really ill, like badly. And you can read into that whatever you want. So I'm not 100% healthy. I also am very, very nervous in it because, well, it's Anthony Cumia. He's hilarious. He's like the perfect guest to have. You ask him one question, he fucking talks for about half an hour. In a good way. So if you're clicking on this and you're thinking that this is a new interview that I got with him, well, it's not. Hopefully I will down the line somehow. But sadly, Anthony, who used to follow me on Twitter, has been kicked off Twitter about 6 or 7 times. So his current account, whichever it is, does not follow me. So once I get the chance to contact him, I will ask him, and he will say no. But in the meantime, here is my original interview with the lovely Anthony Cumia, who has a lovely smile and a very happy face. Anthony Cumia, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Now, I'm going to tell you, I think you're one of the funniest people ever. Like, you're a mad bastard, and in a good way.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's a lifetime of wasted youth and watching much too much television and maybe drinking a little too much.
So you mean being Irish then?
Yeah, I swear. I think I'd really get along well in Ireland. I've always appreciated the attitude of the Irish, and the Ireland looks beautiful. I've never been there. I definitely, that's one of my bucket list things, is to get my ass over there.
Well, we'd love your ass over here. But can I start by pitching you my idea for a sitcom?
Sure.
And this is for my big, we can pitch it to Netflix and it'll be called Cumia. And the opening scene is a new neighbor pulls up to your area, and it's a gentleman of, let's just say, foreign descent.
Okay.
And you look at your friend and you go, I'm going to go right over there and I'm going to call him a word beginning with N and ending in R. So we cut to Cumia walking up to this gentleman's house, and you go, hey, neighbor.
Oh, yeah, neighbor. Of course, that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah, but what else would it be, you know?
I don't think I've said 3 words to my actual neighbors. I live in a predominantly Jewish community, and I'm Catholic, so it's kind of difficult to break the ice with all the Jewish people. Around Christmas time, I'm the only guy with lights all over my house and everything. So I think that, and since I've been in so much trouble with the broadcasts that I've done, the news, and my personal life, the news sometimes comes and knocks on the door and wants comments, and it gets a little crazy.
Speaking of Jews and speaking of sitcoms, do you think Jerry Seinfeld ever banged Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
Jerry banged Julia Louis. I don't know if that's his type. I think at the time he was into young girls, you know. He was going out with some girl named Shoshana Lowenstein for a while, and I think she was 17 when they hooked up. and he was doing Seinfeld at the time, so I think he liked him a little younger than Julia Louis Dreyfus.
That Shoshana was a young hooah with big tits. Oh!
Oh!
Have you seen the size of the tits on her? My God! Oh!
He might have banged her!
She had 2 George Costanza's heads for boobies. Good.
Nice.
But that's the thing, though, is that I can't imagine Jerry even not talking about it, being like, "Hey guys, who are these people who don't want to put their tongue up Elaine's ass?"
So I'm at the bank, and I got my tongue in this chick's ass.
Yeah, it's like,
she was a hooah.
Who are these people who don't want to shoot their goo down her throat?
So, good to hear you get some American TV over there.
Oh, fuck. Well, because we, here in Ireland, we don't watch the BBC because we hate the English.
Right.
And so it's all about Americans. So whenever we hear an American swear, it's hilarious. Like, it's just like, I was in New York once and I heard a gentleman say the word motherfucker. And I almost dropped my champagne glass. I was laughing so hard.
Motherfucker. I like that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, dude.
Which is, but the best thing is because over here nobody says motherfucker. We say cunt all the time.
Right.
And the blacks never say cunt.
No, they don't. They say motherfucker.
Yeah. Hey, motherfucker! Like, shut up, you bunch of cunts.
Cunt is a really bad word around women here in the U.S. There have been just horrid fights that people have gotten into in relationships because they dropped that word during an argument. No matter what you're arguing about, once you call a girl a cunt, the argument ends and a new argument begins.
Well, the problem with that, over here the word cunt is said so much that I don't only drop it in arguments, I drop it in Chinese food orders.
Yeah, no shit, man. That's I've heard that. So you guys really do. You hate the English, right?
Yeah, they can all fuck off.
I love it. What about the Brexit thing? Like, you guys are kind of like, go fuck yourself to the English.
Well, it's kind of worked out for IRA supporters because Ireland can then go independent and rejoin the EU and make all the money.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
We're taking over. It's okay. But I've got to ask you this, Anthony, and this is a question I wanted to ask you for years. Which voice is easier to stop doing? The Chip voice or the Dice voice?
Yeah, well, the Dice voice will, like, really chew your throat up. But the Chip one is so much fun to do. Like, I do the Chip voice just walking around my house, or, you know, if we're out. The Chip voice always comes in. As a matter of fact, I was just doing the Chip voice minutes ago. We're watching one of these, what is it, David Attenborough Dynasty documentaries about chimpanzees and stuff. And they're walking around, and the chimps are walking around with their just big dicks and balls hanging out. And I was going, look at the fucking monkey peckers. Fucking hilarious. So we're constantly doing Chip impressions, yeah.
Like, there's the bananas.
Oh, what does he think it's a banana? Look, he's sucking on it, pecker.
Fucking King Kong. But then, of course, if it was Dice, you'd be all like, hey, look at this fucking banana on this monkey over here.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
Props.
I bought these glasses. These were £37, just simply so that when I'm drunk, I can walk around going, she's a hooah. Ow!
Do people even know who you're doing an impression of?
Oh, yeah, because Dice had that new show.
Yeah.
And it was massive hit here. But also, Opie and Anthony should I say?
Yeah.
It was massive over here.
Yeah, I heard that. We had a lot of fans from Ireland. Really cool to hear from. That was a fucked up thing. It's like, wow, there's fans apparently all over the place. Pretty cool, man. Like I said, I got to get over there.
But the weird thing is, it was all thanks to Howard Stern, because he would never allow his stuff on YouTube, so no one could hear it. But Opie and Anthony was bootlegged like worse than fucking Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, we didn't give a shit. Yeah, it was good for us to get our stuff out there. More recognition.
Well,
So after I got fired.
this, well, after you get fired, Cyrus might as well have fucking blown up, because it stinks.
It's terrible. There's just nothing on there now to even listen to. The music you can get anywhere. It doesn't matter. You get Pandora or 8,000 other music systems, and then their talk is just all watered down bullshit now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of bullshit, and I haven't heard you talk about this news story yet, because I haven't heard the Florentine episode of the Anthony Cumia show. But a gentleman was in the news in Chicago the other night called Jussie Smollett or something like that?
Yeah, the guy from Empire, yeah.
Now, I'm just saying, I'm not saying his story was far-fetched, but if he'd have accused two dragons of attacking him, I would believe that slightly more.
Dragons. Yeah. Well, white supremacists are known to walk around Chicago when it's otherworldly cold out, and look for a random black gay guy to harass.
But the thing is, it's like, and no offense to the guy, because if it did happen, then that's a horrible thing to go through. But if people are racist, they're not going to be watching Empire, so how would they even know who he was?
See, it's common sense like that we just don't have here in the United States, because that's a great point. No one would watch it. No one would know who he was, and nothing would happen to him. This sounds to me like he got a little bit of a spat, a little tiff with his boyfriend. His boyfriend maybe knocked him around a little bit, and then he needed an excuse because he's been telling all his friends what a sweetheart the guy is, and if he's got some bruises and a couple of cuts, he's got to come up with a story. So the greatest story you could ever have is that guys with Trump MAGA hats on were assaulting him. So I guess they ran with that one, but it really comes off as bullshit.
If he hadn't have said the MAGA hat stuff, I honestly think people would believe him.
Yeah, that was a little too much. Put it a little too far over the top. The truth is, the MAGA hat people here don't do anything. They literally, like the kid in Washington D.C. with the Indian guy hitting the drum that caused a big stir. They just stood there. They stood there and did literally nothing, and they caught hell like like it was cowboys in the Old West going through an Indian village. It's ridiculous.
But it's the crazy thing, because I'm not right wing, but I'm not left wing, and I've got like an interracial family. Like my brother, he's one of them, But I feel sorry for Americans, that unless you're like some sort of hyper liberal vegan fucking transsexual, then you're being called a bigot and a racist, and I think it's so unfair.
It's all that goes on now. There's a group of people on social media and TV, and it usually is like that Hollywood liberal left that is just looking. They can't wait for the next victim that they could call some kind of an ist or a phobe or something that they could bury them and try to ruin their career. And it's affecting entertainment, especially comedy. Like the stand-up comics around here, they're fucking petrified to say stuff on stage that normally, for decades has been hilariously funny. It's still funny, but they're petrified to say anything because some asshole with a camera is going to record them, take it out of context, post it online, and the next thing you know, this guy can't get a gig anywhere.
Well, I ain't fucking afraid to say whatever I want. Don't make fun of a black guy. Oh!
Got the glasses and everything.
Yeah, no, because dry January's over, so I will be out drinking tomorrow.
Oh, right. So you were doing dry January?
Yeah, well, it was sort of half health, half I kicked the shit out of myself throughout November, December.
Yeah, those holidays will do it. Yeah.
So talk to me. So you sort of spoke a little bit about it there, but the idea of possible shows over here in Ireland or UK, do you think that could ever happen?
Yeah, I would love to do that, and I know a lot of comics that have done very well when they've gone over. And to do a show, we do a live show, and then bring comics. We could have a comedy night and broadcast live from obviously some kind of venue we could drink at. I think that'd be awesome. I really think that would be the ultimate trip to Ireland, man.
Yeah, I would love that, and especially like because again, I don't think you guys fully taken the because like it's not very PC over here. Like you get a couple of whiny bastards, but when it comes to because like over here, I always say. You can't get offended by a racist joke if your dad owns at least 7 guns.
Yeah, no shit. It's well, over here, of course, yeah, jokes about race or sex and guns, all that goes into a category of people that the left just want to eliminate. They don't even want to talk about it. They're restricting freedom of speech. If you look on social media, they're kicking some of the funniest people I've known off of there. Gavin McInnes got thrown off. Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos. Like, there are some funny motherfuckers that just have nowhere to go now because of their ideology and their jokes. And that, to me, is some powerful shit. And that really needs to stop.
But the thing that's funny to me is because I've got to be honest, if I would have been able to vote in the elections, I probably wouldn't have voted for Trump. But when I'm speaking to some sort of hyper liberal, I will promote Trump like he's my dad. And
yeah, it's fucked up because it's like I voted for Trump, but I didn't vote for Trump because I thought, wow, this is a great guy who's going to do great things. I wanted to let all those politicians know this is how bad you fucked up for decades, that we elected this guy. Now let that sink in, you son of a bitch. That's what my vote was cast for, to let them know that.
and the thing that's funny to me is they better pray to fucking the Scientology god Xenu that Trump doesn't get impeached, because if he does and Mike Pence fucking takes over, they're going to be praying for the glory days of Donald Trump.
Yeah, he is one of those real hardcore conservative, religious, right-wing guys, and I don't think people understand actually how willing to compromise Trump is, and how he's not just a textbook right-wing conservative. They have him painted out as being, Hitler. And the truth of the matter is, Trump's favorite thing is Trump. So you got to look at they call him a narcissist and egotistical. Yeah, and he wants America to succeed so he can say, look what I did. Well, if the end result is we're all better off, I don't give a shit what his reasoning is. If it's a vanity thing or he wants to be able to go down in history as the greatest president ever, that seems to me to be pretty good for everybody. And if you ever want that job anyway, you're an egotistical, narcissistic fuck. Who wants to be leader of the free world? Get the fuck out of here. I can barely control my own life.
But that's one of the things. I had to laugh that the day there was within 48 hours of him going into the presidency, there was the women's rights march, and they were complaining about their lack of rights, and you wanted to go, hey, you do know that that's because of Obama, right? Obama. It's like,
yeah, well, Obama is still looked at here like he's revered, like some kind of saint. And the truth of the matter is, his 8 years of being president was really detrimental to this country on every front, financially, ethically, as far as division between races and religions and everything. That all came about under Obama. And then Trump gets in there, and the one unifying thing for Americans is cash, money. If he could come up with jobs and cut our taxes, let us have a little more money in our bank accounts, that unites Americans, believe me. And, he doesn't care about black or white or religion. He just cares about make America successful, and then whoever lives here will have the table set to become successful. The Democrats and liberals all seem to want to keep you in a state where you need them. Look at the homeless. Look at the horrible poverty. Look at this. They never want to fix it because they always want to say, we'll fix it for you. But they never do anything. So they hold it over your head, and that seems to be what they've been doing for forever.
Like, I don't care if you're black or white. I just like green.
Wonderful, terrific, great people. Where are my African Americans? Where are they? Where are they? I love his speeches.
That's why you should actually play a game on the podcast, like Dice or Trump. Who said it?
You probably wouldn't be able to tell quite a few times. I've seen Trump at there was a roast years ago on Comedy Central where a bunch of comics came out and roasted Donald Trump, and there was some really distasteful racial, sexual jokes. He's laughing his ass off, and he didn't change over the period of between the roast and his presidency. He still finds that shit funny, but I love how he drives the left crazy. I can't get enough of watching him say shit and driving everyone in the world nuts.
And as a former, as a current wrestling fan, I just love the fact that he let Steve Austin do the stunner on him at WrestleMania.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up? Like, he's the president now, and there he was in the ring with Steve Austin doing this. He had this stunner done to him, and then what did he do to Vince? He
clothesline.
Yeah. Trump did something. He might have hit him with a chair.
It's like, God damn it, Mr. President!
You're fired.
But Anthony, I gotta ask you about Artie Lang. Now it's a very sad thing what Artie's going through, but kind of something that needs to happen. If we're being honest, so talk to me about working with Artie and what you think about what's happened to Artie recently.
Yeah, he obviously he's had drug issues for forever. When we brought him on board, he had said he was clean, and we knew he wasn't, but he wasn't so fucked up where he couldn't come in and work. And when he wasn't totally falling down, fucked up, he's one of the funniest guys you'll ever meet. And he was really good on the show when he wasn't completely fucked up, but when he was, it was some of the most difficult shows to do because you're trying to get through a topic and he's changing the topic every 2 seconds because he doesn't know what he's talking about. But everyone that's known him over the years has felt bad, and you want to help him, but it's the old adage, he has to want to help himself. So we just had to let him go. It was getting a little too crazy. And watching what's happened to him lately, he just got arrested the other day and put in jail, and the mugshot is horrific. It is just awful. It looks like something's crawling out of his nose, and his nose is completely fucking just a giant blob on his face. He can't stop doing drugs. I really think he needs a good year away from everything, just intense help with this issue that he has for a good year, and see what happens after that.
He's got a nose like a horse pussy. Speaking of pussies, I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of Jimmy, but I'm also a fan of Opie. So I'm not trying to trick you into bad mouthing him or anything. But do you think that it is possible that you two, even not so much to do a reunion show, but do you think that you two could like make up and be friends again at some point?
I'm not sure. Like, I've always been open to him coming on the show or something like that, I would have gone on his show and things like that. But Opie's been more of he takes things very personally. He holds on to grudges and anger for a long time, and that would probably be more up to him. But regardless of whatever happened, it could never go back to being what it was. I think a lot of people know that and understand that. But as far as even being civil with each other, look, I'm willing to sit down and talk to anybody. I really don't hold a grudge. There's literally, I think, 2 or 3 people that I've ever known in my life that I just wouldn't ever talk to. And I've known a lot of people and been around for quite a while. So I'm pretty good with letting things go and moving past things. Him, not so much. So he's doing what he does. He's got a podcast on Westwood One Podcast Network, the Opie radio podcast. And, I have no qualms about people enjoying what he does and people enjoying what Jimmy does. Me and Jimmy are still like best of friends. I love that little fag. So, that's what it is. But as far as Opie goes, it's kind of in his court. But the future doesn't look very promising at this point.
Have you heard the rumor that Opie has fallen out with the Mad Cuban?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, apparently Carl hasn't been on the podcast in nearly a month.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. I didn't know that. I like Carl a lot. Carl is a talented guy. He's funny. He's a regular Joe kind of a guy, and he's successful. He's got a pretty good thing going. He, if you could make food interesting, I don't know. Seems like a pretty boring topic to me, but if you could, the way he does it, he's a funny guy. So, no, I haven't heard that one, but well, that would be rough for the Opster because Carl's pretty good.
Yeah. But everybody falls out and makes up, and everyone sucks each other's dicks,
Come here, suck my dick, and we'll call it quits. Oh.
So I'm standing at the bank. Fuck it, I'm just about to do the joke you did earlier, but So Anthony, I gotta ask you this, and we can skip over it if you want, because it's not really. But I'm sure you're aware that there's a YouTube guy called Beige Frequency, who's made a documentary series about you. So I was just
he did one on me, one on Jimmy, and stuff. Yeah, there's always going to be people that do shit like that, YouTube or social media, and they'll either love you or hate you or a mixture of the two, or 1 week it's one thing, 1 week it's the other. Some people get shit right and it's accurate. Other people completely miss the mark and get everything wrong. And it's the nature of the beast when you've been in the public eye for as many years as I have. That people are going to give you shit, and you just got to kind of deal with it.
Yeah, because so I take it you don't sit around watching them all then, yeah?
No. I spend much of my time doing the show and playing video games these days. That's pretty much what I do.
Well, speaking of your free time, I just want to thank you for doing this, and we're just coming up to the last 2 questions, and I ask everybody these, and they're big, important questions. So here's the first one. Who's the better band, Queen or the Beatles?
Oh, my God. My girlfriend's looking at me right now saying, you better fucking say the right thing. When I was growing up, because I've been on the old mortal coil for a while here, I enjoy the Beatles. I mean, my parents would play them all the time, and those songs got ingrained in my head and whatnot. But Queen is so fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. It's and the movie I thought was really done well. It could have turned into a parody very easily and looked like This Is Spinal Tap. They didn't drop the ball on that one. And their songs are amazing. His voice is like just an amazing original rock voice. So I think as far as legendary status goes, you got to give it to the Beatles. But just for sitting back and listening to music enjoyability, especially these days, I would take Queen. Yeah.
The thing I loved about that film was apparently Freddie's biggest problem was that he was a heavy drinker.
Yeah.
It's like, and not the fact that he constantly had custard coming out of his fucking ass.
The Irish Dice is fucking awesome. I love it, man. Yeah. I want to know who was on the receiving end of those wood chipper teeth. Oh, I'd sooner stick my cock in a piece of farm machinery.
Well, here's we've come to the final question, and this is the big one.
Yes,
And if you get this wrong, it's all done. No podcast, no radio career, no fan base, right?
Damn.
The Spice Girls are back. Who's your favorite Spice Girl?
Oh, wow. You know, people aren't going to really, I don't think they're going to like this, but when back in the day, when they would pop on a show, my eye would instantly be drawn, oddly enough, to Stupid Sporty Spice. I kind of liked she had a pretty nice body on her. The other one, I don't know, Baby Spice looked like a fucking Cupid doll, and I don't know. And then who's the other one married to fucking Beckham? What? Posh Spice, you know, I don't go that way.
And the other one?
Yeah, well, you know. No, God.
She looks like a fuck, well, you know, Eddie Murphy's wife.
Oh!
But this, Anthony, can I ask one favor from you, by the way?
Sure.
One of my other jobs in podcasting is I edit for this sports podcast called Keeping It 100. And one of the guys on there is a retired wrestler called Disco Inferno.
Yeah.
And he refuses to do my podcast out of spite. So what I've tried to do is with celebrities that I get to talk to, got Perez Hilton to do it. Can I ask you to do a quick request for him to come on my podcast?
Oh, cool. Yeah. What was his name again?
Disco Inferno.
Disco Inferno.
That's not his name.
Hey, Disco Inferno. What are you doing? Do the fucking podcast. You wear tights like a girl. You wrestle around with men, sweaty men. What are you doing? It'll make you look more manly. So do the goddamn podcast.
That was absolutely perfect. Anthony, I want to thank you for your time. You're a real hero of mine. You're hilarious. And I'd love to interview you again in a few more months down the line.
Absolutely, man. And I tell you, when we decide to venture out there, I'll give you a call. I'd like you to, show me some pubs.
Oh, you've got it. I know a guy that knows a guy.
There you go. I know a guy that knows a guy. Also, let all your friends over there in Ireland know I have a book, Permanently Suspended, it's called. And it's available online at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and, of course, CompoundMedia.com. It's got all the history of the Opie and Anthony show and the twisted upbringing that I had and things that went on after I got fired from the O&A show. So, pretty interesting book.
I actually got it at Christmas, and it's bloody good, as they say in England.
Thank you, my